This lovely plant is a peperomia, a tricolor peperomia to be exact. I thought you might like some tips on how to grow this plant successfully, so here we go. Join me.
Liquid Amber Girl Gardening.
This plant has many different names it's recognized as: Peperomia tricolor, red edge peperomia, baby rubber plant, or its scientific name, Peperomia culciifolia tricolor. There are about 1,000 or so species of peperomias. Mostly can be found in Central and South America. These plants are really well known as houseplants, actually more well known as a houseplant than as a succulent collector's type plant. And I imagine that houseplant lovers like these because their leaves can be so different, different colors, shapes, sizes, even different textures. Some of their leaves are soft, like covered in small soft hairs, or more like normal succulent plants, they can be kind of waxy or rubbery feeling. I'm not really sure why this plant isn't a little bit more popular with succulent collectors than it is. One website suggested maybe it was because they don't have really showy flowers, but that's kind of the case for a lot of succulents. I think peperomias have, even in the succulent world, have extremely unattractive flowers compared to many of the others, and maybe that's a reason. But according to my research, it seems like even in like succulent shows or succulent specialized nurseries, you really don't find peperomia plants. I think they're amazing. They have so many different varieties, and a lot of them are actually super dwarf varieties, which I love because that's fun for using in fairy gardens or terrariums. Plus, I just like anything that's miniature anyway because it's automatically cuter. This particular peperomia, the tricolor, isn't super teeny, but it isn't huge either. About 6 inches tall, which is about where it is right now, and then it doubles that in size so it can be up to 12 inches wide. So that's not super teeny, but it doesn't get huge either. So it's probably still good enough that you could use it like in the background of a fairy garden or some kind of arrangement like that. Plus, it adds amazing color. So let's get to the actual how to care for this plant section of this video. And we're going to start with light requirements. No direct sunlight for this one. It would cause sunburn on the leaves, which would probably kill your plant off entirely, if not maim it pretty terribly. If you have it outdoors, it needs to be in dappled shade. So pretty heavy shade probably, bright light underneath, but no direct sunlight touching the leaves. If you have it indoors, it can handle bright but indirect sunlight inside, or it will do pretty well underneath fluorescent grow lights, which is how I keep mine, and it likes it very well. Next, let's talk about the temperatures that this plant likes. This one is pretty picky. It's a zone 10, and it cannot tolerate temperatures below between 50 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. It really is not cold tolerant at all. The water needs of this plant are similar to most other succulent plants. You let the soil dry almost completely out before you rewater it again, and it doesn't need a whole lot of water when you do. One very striking difference between this plant and most succulent plants is that this plant actually can deal with high humidity situations. A lot of succulent plants do not like humidity. It doesn't need to have it to thrive. In fact, sometimes if it has high humidity, it can develop some ring spot disease and other problems. So if you do have a high humidity type of a situation, then you need to make sure you have a lot of airflow. Two final thoughts about peperomia plants. One is that they do their active growing in the spring and summer. So that's when you should use your fertilizer if you're going to. I like to use succulent fertilizer. You can use just regular houseplant fertilizer if you like. Make sure that you don't use fertilizer during the fall and winter because that's the time that that plant needs to have a rest. And the second point is toxicity. These plants aren't terrible, but they're not good for your pets, your small children. If they would ingest them, it could cause their tummies to feel upset. So it's not like life or death stuff, but you never want to take a chance. If you have young children or pets in the house, just put the plants where they can't be reached. All right, my friends, it's participation time. If there is a plant that you would like to see a video about that it would help you to have some information about, please list that in the comments below. That way I can kind of tailor these videos to things that would be helpful to you. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and I wish you a very happy new year. I'll see you in the next video.